So what is a
Holacracy.
what was the word you used, sorry?
Holacracy.
Holacracy. That's it. Yeah. What's that?
Holacracy it's a methodology, came out of a company in the US called Holacracy One, and it essentially it's a decentralized governance model. So it's governance, right? So understand, it doesn't tell you what roles to have, and it just this is how we create roles. This is how we decentralize decision making. This is the constitution of which how we make decisions. So it gives you all the rules of running a business.
I see.
What you stick into that, it's up to you. How you evolve it, it's up to you. How you implement it, it's up to you. But here are the rules, right? And they're very defined. How you run a meeting, how you run a tactical meeting, how you run a governance meeting, how you change governance artifact. Like all these things are very well described. Yeah. And as a CEO, your only decision is one thing: do you adopt holacracy or do you not? That is it. Once you adopt it, that's it. You are now held to the same rules as everyone else. So a good example of that is in one of our governance meetings, someone proposed a governance item that I didn't actually agree with as the CEO, which the CEO title does not exist in holacracy. Doesn't exist. The CEO is a
Wow.
construct which we make. It's actually not a role. Yeah. And so I don't have this title of CEO I can bring to the table. I have roles that I hold that have accountabilities. And unfortunately, the proposal that was being made had nothing to do with any of the roles that I held. So I had no say. And it got adopted. And guess what? It was the right thing. And that's the ultimate test of holacracy, right? Which is your personality and your title they don't mean shit, right? And that's what the makeup of a good governance framework is, right? Where personality and title are leveled out, right? Because if you think about it, most companies, 99% of businesses, even some of the biggest businesses in the market today, how do decisions get made? Personality and status, right? The higher up,
Yeah.
the bigger the title, and the bigger the personality, like you're feared in the business, or you've been on a winning streak, and so people are scared. Like they're the things you often can get through any decision, right? Even if it's the right one or the wrong one, or even if it has anything to do with your domain or not, right? You have influence. In holacracy, that influence is wiped out. It's a difficult notion for a lot of professional managers who come into businesses to grasp with, because they don't have that title to lean on from an authority perspective, because authority is given to the process. It's given to the constitution, not the person.
It's outsourced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have this idea of role versus soul. So, as a soul, Frank Fewley, I can hold a number of roles. And within those roles, it is defined what is my accountability and responsibility, and that's it. And if a proposal gets put forward, unless it impacts a role that I have, so unless a proposal, what's a good example? I do have a role of setting strategy for the business, right? On where we're headed, yeah? So if someone proposes something that does have an impact on the strategy of the business, then I can object, because I have a domain in which I own, I have accountabilities that I can object. But the objection process, like my objection has to be valid. It can't just be, I just don't like it. That's not a valid objection.
Yeah. It feels funny to me.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right. It's not. I just don't like that idea. Bullshit. Okay, why? How will it cause harm? If you can't articulate that, you've got no valid objection, right? And so there's still very strict guardrails in which you can object. And it's interesting because you're not objecting to the person or the soul. You're just objecting to the data, right? So that's the other good thing. Tension is a positive force in any adaptive system, right? So let's think about it. When you go to the gym, what do? You create tension in your physical system, right? By lifting weights, by stressing your muscle, stressing being the key operative word, right? Through tension in order to force adaptation, right? Holacracy is the same thing. Holacracy is about surfacing tensions on purpose, looking for them, like actually experiencing, sensing tensions in my role, because it can only be based on what I'm experiencing, not what someone else is experiencing. That's their business, right? And if I see a tension, I have a forum in which I can raise the tension, describe the tension, and then the process will sort out the tension. And it's very structured. And within that structure, there's such liberation, right? Because I can tell you now, like we look at our holacracy metrics, how many items we process in a tactical meeting, which is more like an operational meeting, and how many governance proposals we get done. And I can tell you now, we're processing machines. Like we are so much more productive because we've got the data. Like how many meetings have you been in where you get stuck on one agenda item because everyone's got an opinion and there's no real structure on how to make a decision, right? How many?
Hours.
Yeah. Um, with us, mate, it's just shut down. If it's there's no room for discussion, there's a process, and that's it. Follow the process, or the facilitator and secretary of that meeting will shut it down, right? And so that's yeah, Holacracy's got this really robust framework for running a business. So, and that's the one we do. I mean, again, like there's many out there, and I encourage people to go and explore these management theories and these, these frameworks and methods that can really help you build a business.
Thanks for watching this clip of the Getting Mental podcast. If you like this clip, check out the full episode here or more clips here.